There we go. Welcome, everybody, to our Tuesday, July 9th City Commission work session. We'll call this meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. If you'll join us as Jennifer leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is Commissioner Walker cannot be here today. He is out and about right now, so can I get a motion to give him an excused absence?
A second, and based on the fact he's actually working, I believe. He's not really out and about. He's working.
I couldn't remember what he was doing. I just knew
I
it was
thought
important.
for the public to know he's working.
I knew he was doing something important. I just couldn't remember what it was. Okay, so Commissioner Gowan, Vice Mayor Franey, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
It sounded like he was at Flanagan's Pub or something when you say he's out and about. So.
Sorry. Sorry, Rob. I know you're doing good stuff. All right, we'll go on to our presentations, and we have the National Parks and Recreation Month proclamation. I will turn that over to Commissioner Gao.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And it is a wonderful, wonderful time of year, isn't it, Parks and Recreation Month? Well, Vince, come on up. Wonderful. Give him a few seconds, because I know there's a lot, as there should be.
Quick on my feet.
It's a wonderful time, regardless of heat. Anyway, it is National Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas we joined the National Recreation and Parks Association and the Florida Recreation and Parks Association to recognize the month of July as Parks and Recreation Month. And whereas since 1985, people in the United States have celebrated Parks and Recreation Month in July to promote building strong, vibrant, resilient communities through the power of parks and recreation, and to recognize the more than 160,000 full-time park and recreation professionals, along with hundreds of thousands of part-time and seasonal workers and volunteers that maintain our country's local, state, and community parks. It's a lot of people. And whereas 4 pillars of the Florida Recreation and Parks Association are health, environment, community building, and economic impact. And whereas Parks and Recreation experiences build healthy, active communities, reduce stress, and improve mental and emotional health, and aid in the prevention of chronic diseases. And whereas parks are fundamental to the environmental sustainability of our community by providing places to connect with nature, enhancing water quality, providing habitat for wildlife, and improving the air we breathe. And whereas our Parks and Recreation system is vitally important to the quality of life in Dunedin, providing opportunities for people to come together as a community and transforming strangers into neighbors, attracting new residents and businesses, and reducing crime. And whereas our recreational programs have created countless stories in people's lives, whether it be providing a calm place of solitude for the reflection or relaxation, a chance to take on a new challenge, or an opportunity to meet new people from lifelong bonds. And whereas, as we observe Parks and Recreation Month, let us not forget the vital contribution of employees, volunteers, and community partners who truly embody the essence of belonging, keeping our parks clean, safe, and accessible for all to enjoy. And whereas this Parks and Recreation Month, we celebrate the many ways Parks and Recreation professionals foster a sense of belonging in their community by providing welcoming and inclusive programs, essential services for all ages and abilities, and safe, accessible spaces to build meaningful connections. Now therefore I, Jeff Gao, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Mayor of the City of Dunedin, and on behalf of this entire Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of July 2024 as Parks and Recreation Month in Dunedin, and encourage everyone to visit their favorite Parks and Recreation facility or park. Where you belong, it starts in parks.
Thank you, Commissioner Gao, for reading the proclamation, and thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Commission for this proclamation, and thank you for all your support throughout the years. This is actually our 17th year doing this in front of you, and we do have a video, again, today to show.
Of course. We expect that.
I look forward to this proclamation every single year. And also thank you for helping us with our funding for projects and our facilities, our parks, our programs, our events, and our staffing levels. Thank you for that. And I also want to thank our Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee for their guidance and wisdom. And Jessica Raines is here this morning representing them, and she has a few words to say after the video. Thank you to all of our volunteers, and we have many partners. We would not be able to do what we do without their engagement and involvement. And thank you to our community who we have the pleasure of serving. And also thank you to our dedicated staff, some who are standing behind me this morning, who work endless hours and are committed and engaged in our community, conducting quality programs, activities, and keeping our parks well-maintained and safe. So with me this morning is Lainey Sheets, our Administration Superintendent. Lainey? There you are. Nicole, Jocelyn Broadhead, our Recreation Superintendent. Nicole Allen, our very talented Marketing Coordinator and producer of today's video. Danielle Edwards, our Special Event Programmer. Jory Peterson would have been here this morning as well, but she's on vacation. Brett Montanay, who is our Hale Center Coordinator. Pete Wells, our Park Supervisor. And again, Jennifer Raines is here representing our advisory committee. So I just really have to tell a quick story about accommodating and customer service and commitment to our community. So about 2 weeks ago, it's All-Star season now for Little League. And our major team, our 11 and 12-year-olds, made it to the district finals. And the games were being played up in Countryside. And after the first inning, going into the second inning, it started to rain real heavily, and the staff up there told them that they wouldn't be able to finish this game into about 4 hours from that point, and the kids waiting around 4 hours. So they, Vince Ionata, who coaches the team, who many of you know, he said, well, there's got to be something else that we can do. So he took a run down to, while the kids were all waiting, took a run down to Fisher Field at Highlander Park, and he ran into our park foreman, Brian Elliott, who we were having a softball tournament that day as well on the fields, girls softball, so the girls' softball fields were being used. And he asked Brian, he said, we're really in a bind, we got to get these games. And All-Star, it's an international tournament, so it's very critical that the games be played. And Brian said, I can get the three fields ready for you within 30 to 45 minutes. And he sure did. He got them dragged, he got them lined, and the teams all came down to play the rest of their game at Fisher Field. So I just thought that was unbelievably accommodating, and the customer service that we provided our Little League, who supports us and really is a great partner with us, and it's just a commitment to our community. So I just really needed to tell that story. And Little League people were just fascinated. And they did win the game, and now they're playing in the sectional finals in East Lake this coming weekend, and if they win, they go on to states, and then they could end up in Williamsport. So it's a pretty big deal. Yep. So thank you to your staff. We tried to get Brian here this morning, but he's also on vacation. So the video, this year's theme is Where You Belong, as it said in the proclamation. It celebrates the many ways parks and recreational professionals across the country foster a sense of belonging in their communities by providing welcoming, inclusive programs, essential services for all ages, and abilities and safe, accessible space to build meaningful connections. So with that, we'll play the video. As you can see, we cover a lot of areas where you belong, and I'm going to turn it over to Jessica.
Good morning. First, thank you to the dedicated staff for Parks and Recs. Parks and Recreation in the city of Dunedin is truly the definition of where you belong. I freely admit that I am terribly prejudiced when it comes to the city Parks and Recreation Department. The dedication that the dedication that I see in Vince, Jocelyn, and Lanny is awe-inspiring. The entire staff of Parks and Recreations have the same attitude, always working on another enhancement, another activity, event, or happening that would appeal to the diverse population that is Dunedin, or doing a great job maintaining space and facilities we have now. Parks and Recreation serves a broad range of ages, from preschool programs to the Hale Senior Center. There is a space for every age and interest. Do you want to get in shape? Then head to the fitness center. Are you caring for someone suffering from Alzheimer's? Then there is a support group for you. Do you have young children needing to learn to swim? There's a program for that. Do you need a walk along the water? Visit the marina or the Dunedin Causeway. Do you need a quiet walk and to see some native plants and wildlife? Then visit the Gladys Douglas Preserve. Need a round of golf? Visit the Dunedin Golf Club. There are so many wonderful reasons to be outside in Dunedin. We have 29 parks and 350 acres of green space. With a population of about 36,000, that is a park for every 1,200 people and an acre of green space for every 100 people. All the space is beautifully maintained by Parks and Recreation. You can host a family picnic in one of our pavilions or stop in some of the outdoor facilities to get fit on the equipment. We have ball fields for all ages, tennis, pickleball, volleyball, archery. A visit to our beautiful splash park is always a hit with the younger kids. The bottom line is everyone belongs in Dunedin, and everyone is welcome to enjoy the many facilities, both inside and out, that the City of Parks and Recreations provide. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank all of you for what you do for us. Thank you.
So I would like that stat repeated about the acres per person. Can you say it again?
I did my math.
Please do.
Okay, so I looked it up, and in 2022, we had a permanent population of 36,000 residents. We have listed on the website 29 parks and 350 acres of green space. So given the population, that's 1,200 people per park and 100 people per acre of green space. And I think for a city our size, that's pretty amazing statistics.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's kind of why I wanted to point it out again. I know that people always feel like there's just a lot of development going on around us. But I think one of the things we're all very proud of is that we've maintained an environment in Dunedin that respects the green space and protects it and provides an enormous amount of green space per person, maybe unlike others around us. So thank you guys for all your hard work. Happy Parks and Rec. Yay. Oh,
Standing up.
yep.
Back, this thing is always on the wall. All right. Make sure I see everybody back there. Okay, perfect. All right. Take a couple. All right, I'm gonna go on this side too. We get everyone's best sides. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, guys. Great job on the video. Okay, now's the time for citizen input. Anybody wishing to come forward and speak to any item that is not already on the agenda, please feel free to do so. Yep. Should we just put a slot in here for you?
Oh,
think
well,
so.
I appreciate the opportunity to kind of keep the messaging going. My name is Eric Graves, 1413 Bayshore Boulevard in Dunedin. I guess the timing is really good. The Parks Group does such an amazing job, and it's
They do.
great that they get that recognition. So I just want to kind of keep the messaging going. I think you probably know what it is. Request support for the Park and Rec's ask for the 2025 budget item for the Weaver Park shoreline and water improvements, including the launch, hopefully for kayaks, paddleboards, and small sailboats. As far as a quick update, I've continued some resident support outreach. Hopefully you've received some messages in regard to that. There is a lot of interest, obviously, in the community for this. Also, I was invited to present to the Dunedin Boat Club Board of Directors, and we've got their full support as well. So if you haven't seen any communication on that, hopefully you will be soon. And then the other update is we do have the Florida Department of Environmental Protection meeting on the whole process scheduled. That's set for July 17th, and that's including a member of Parks and Recreation. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to Parks and Recs getting their budget support, and then again, some activities as far as the update. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Jennifer, you want to give us any updates on this?
No, I really don't have an update for you. We are going to be, we have a budget workshop on the 15th,
Right,
so we can talk about it then, but I don't have an update.
okay, thank you.
Sorry.
It's okay, it wasn't planned. I didn't. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have the approval of the minutes from June 4th and June 6th. We have board and committee appointments to Parks and Recreation and Social Services. We have the award of a contract for raw water main piping, or pigging.
Yes.
Okay, to Professional Piping Services in the amount of $183,000 and change. And then we have an independent consultant agreement purchase order with Bruce Worth in the amount not to exceed $74,000 and change. Any item to be pulled? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, Vice Mayor Franey and Commissioner Twanga, thank you. Are there any is there any public input on any of these items? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. All right, then we have the Florida League of Cities Legislative Policy Committee sign-up. Who am I looking at, Rebecca or Jennifer?
I did hand out a handout just before the meeting started, which just basically has some of the new titles that they've changed for the 2024 and 2025 changes. And so I do have a list of which each of you know. Commissioner Torga was on Municipal Administration, Vice Mayor Franey was on Land Use and Economic Development, Commissioner Gao was on Transportation and Intergovernmental Relations, and Commissioner Walker was on Utilities, National Resources, and Public Works. And I believe, Jennifer, didn't you serve on the Finance and Taxation Committee, if I remember correctly?
Actually, I did not. I attended a finance meeting, and they appointed me to the committee.
Then you were on the committee.
I was not able to attend those meetings.
Oh, okay. So basically, they're just looking for, and each of these has to be signed up by you individually, but the issue is that you cannot sign up
Right.
for the same one together. So it's just a discussion, and so that it's kind of hard with it being an election year,
Right.
so I figured you'd want to have a discussion about that.
Well, Commissioner Walker is not here to express his interest. We probably, maybe in the future, we want to get an interest indicator before we come,
Okay,
like next year.
okay.
You didn't do anything wrong, Rebecca. We've never done it before, but I think sometimes it kind of helps as a starter point. I mean, does anybody want to just take on what they already do? Or, I know there are some folks in an election that maybe want to just take a break this year.
Well, I'm going to take a break only because when I look at October 4th and November 8th,
Yeah,
they're both conflicting dates with some, other activities. So, I don't want to take it on and not be able to attend the meeting.
Sure.
And, 2 out of 3. So
Right.
right now, I'm just going to say I probably won't be able to do it because of the conflicts, but if I do, I'll just take what's left.
Commissioner Torga?
I'd be delighted to stay with administration.
The municipal operations?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll stick with the intergovernmental relations.
Okay. And we don't know what Commissioner Walker wants, so,
Yeah, if I'm able to do it, I'll go back to my redevelopment area, but
Okay.
unless Commissioner Walker decides he wants.
all right,
to.
so you'll just give this information to him, because he has to sign up on his own?
He has to
right?
sign up as on his own. So, so Commissioner Torga, you'll go ahead and sign up for it's a new name now, I believe, the same one that you were on last year. And then Commissioner Gao, you as well, with the same one. you
Okay,
were last year.
so you need a motion for us to accept those appointments?
I don't
Do we
believe so.
think
I
so?
think it's just more about making sure that you each sign up for different ones is really, so that you don't have two for Sunshine.
Great.
So
Okay.
That's all I need.
All right, so we don't need a motion then?
No.
All right. And then we have the proposed agenda for July 23rd. Are there any changes? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Twanga and Vice Mayor Franny. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay. We are ready for strategic planning. Welcome, ladies. Well, I mean, we can use this over here, too.
Good
morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Nicole Delfino here, Strategy and Sustainability Manager, to provide an update here with Angela from the USF, Florida Institute of Government, and Tina from SPC Collaborative Labs on the strategic planning process. And some feedback that we'll be looking for you as we get through some of these items, including the mission, vision, value statements, and then the goals and objectives of the plan itself. So from here, I'm just going to pass it over to Angela.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
So happy to see you all. It's been a long process, but I think we have come a long way. So just want to celebrate your successes. I think that's the first thing to say is glad to be here, but I couldn't have done it without our team. And so I know you had the opportunity, many of you, to either see or work with Dr. Daly and Dr. Neely and our communications specialist, Brittany, but do want to specifically thank Collaborative Labs, Tina, who's here with us, Dina, who was our documenter, and PJ, who made sure that our technology worked fabulous. So in addition to that, really need to thank Nicole. Nicole has been a great champion internally with Jennifer, but Nicole has been our go-to person, and she's done a great job of coordinating everything. It always makes our life easier when we have a good staff person to work with. So just really quickly today, this is really a status update of kind of where we are and providing you with, again, those final draft goals and objectives, vision and mission, core values and guiding principles. I just will briefly go over the meaning and definitions just as a friendly reminder. kind of share with you everything we've accomplished, again, celebrating those successes, and then we'll go through the items that I mentioned, and then talk about what really needs to occur between now and September. Okay? All right, so these are really important. So for the purposes of today, if you look on the left-hand side and you see the orange bar, we will not be talking about action plans today, okay? If you remember, we started at the base, the foundation. So today, we're focusing on vision, mission, core values, strategic themes, goal statements, and objectives. And I just wanted to remind you, hopefully you had a chance to look at all of this, but just kind of as a friendly reminder, how we define vision, mission, strategic theme, goals, and objectives. So remember that vision, it's an aspirational description, so it's something far out that you want to achieve in the future. That mission is something that is your purpose and reason for existence. Very clear, very succinct. Your strategic theme, think of it as like a pillar, right? It's like that pillar where you want to excel in order to achieve your vision. Your goal is a broad statement, very broad, high level. And then the objective is, it's a specific outcome. It could be measurable, it doesn't have to be, and it will provide progress towards the goals. So those are the items that we will be looking at today. We will not be focusing on the action plans. I will explain that to you later on, okay? All right. Okay, so really, round of applause for everyone. You can see we completed all the deliverables in phase 1. A lot of work happened really in almost a 6-month period, which is incredible. We were able to review your documents, continue to provide communications outreach, stakeholder interviews, both community forums, the focus group, and we also provided a presentation to you. So that was a lot of work in a 6-month time, and we have great data from all of that. Here we are in the second phase of this. We completed Leadership Forum 1 and 2. You guys were there. Those were great. So here we are now. We are now in the final stages of the report. And just so you know, we will be using your new branding guidelines. We do have a template from Sue, and so we will be working on pulling that final report together. And then the final presentation, I believe, is slated for September 3rd. And so just want to make sure that you guys were aware of all of that. All right, so here is really where the meat of this presentation is in terms of the vision and the mission. As you recall, I just want to state that all those deliverables that were checked in green, all of that information went into this. So this wasn't something that was just pulled out. We used all of the data from the leadership forums, from all of the deliverables in phase 1 to develop very succinct and simple, hopefully easy to understand vision and mission statements. So I'll just read them for the record. So the final draft for the vision is to cultivate a vibrant, inclusive community that treasures its history, champions sustainability, and fosters a safe environment. The mission, to improve the quality of life for all by listening to the voices of our citizens and providing quality services through responsible financial stewardship. So do you want me to stop it?
Are there any, would you like to, do you prefer? Okay.
Keep going.
Keep going, okay.
You don't want us to wordsmith, or?
No.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
It's a joke. It's called hell no.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Go, go, go,
Boy,
go.
nobody's got a humor tonight.
Well, yes. So core values and guiding principles. So you can see here, customer-focused services, integrity, accountability, stewardship, and innovation. Remember, these core values and guiding principles are those non-negotiable behavioral items. So not only is you're agreeing to this as elected officials, but your staff, your community, that when you're engaging and interacting with one another, these are those kind of guiding principles that you will live by as a community. And so for customer-focused services, it's about we engage our customers with a focus on listening to and supporting their needs, anticipating and delivering high-quality services, and ensuring their satisfaction. Integrity. We conduct ourselves always with the highest degree of integrity, respect, and fairness. Accountability. We are accountable to the citizens of Dunedin. We will always be open and transparent in our operations, actions, and communications. Stewardship. We serve as trusted stewards of the public's financial, environmental, social, and physical resources. And then innovation. We use innovative thinking to anticipate opportunities and trends, develop creative solutions, and share leading best practices to transform our community. And hopefully you can see how well your vision and mission complement the core values and guiding principles. There's definitely synergy amongst them. Okay, as you recall in your leadership forums, we came up with 7 strategic themes. And remember, these are those pillars of excellence and where you want to excel in order to achieve your vision. Okay, so we're just gonna walk through each of these. Before I go into this, I just want to say thank you to Jennifer and her leadership team. So just so that you know, just because we all met for the 2 leadership forums, there was a lot of work that occurred after that and in between both of those. And so Jennifer, Nicole, and I, and many of the department heads spent a lot of time virtually wordsmithing, moving things around, trying to make it as simple and succinct, taking into consideration all the data. So I did, again, want to recognize all of the staff for that because it takes a village, no pun intended, but it really did take all of us to get this done. So I'm sharing this one with you first. This is City Services. You will note on here, you see just the goals and the objectives. On some of the other slides, you will see some of the action items. I only put those in there so you can see what still needs to be done. For the purposes of today, we are focusing on goal and objective. So as you see under City Services, there are 4 goals. And I'm not going to go through and read all of these. I will just read the goal statement. And then I can just briefly talk to the objectives. But so the 4 goals in City Services are a consistent set of standards for responsive and accessible customer service. Goal 2 is efficient and effective water, sewer, stormwater, and sanitation services. You will see there it says refer to goal F5. And we'll talk about those in a second when I get to strategic theme F, but a lot of times there are goals and objectives that are cross-referenced. Oh my gosh, this thing. Are cross-referenced. I can't help it, I'm Italian and I talk with my hands, so I'm sorry. Are cross-referenced with other goals because there may be things that are happening within that goal that affect the success of another goal. Goal 3, flawless permitting process. And then goal 4, robust public safety services with an emphasis on community connectivity. So remember, the objectives are the how-to. I'm going to move on. Okay, strategic theme B is communications and technology. I actually have 2 slides for this. And so here's one where I just wanted to provide you with an example. So you'll see here, goal B1, a well-informed community. If you look under the first objective there, you'll see that maintain an ever-evolving dynamic website using relevant and up-to-date information. That's an objective, but there will be a lot of action items / tasks, if you will, that will need to be accomplished in order to meet objective B1.1. So you can see the first action item is develop a process for monitoring departmental pages, project pages, and statistical data. You are not concerned about the action items as elected officials. You are concerned about the goals and objectives, okay? You need to know the action items, and you need to be aware, but that is how your staff is going to accomplish. So,
Have you met elected officials? I'm just kidding, I know you have. It's a joke.
So remember,
I know, she's married to one.
You're set, you're driving that policy, you're way up here at the 100,000-foot level. So those are the first two goals for communications and technology. We have two more, which are internet accessibility across the city and cutting-edge technology for streamlined city operations. So again, you can see all the action items under these. The reason why this is a status update is we have a lot more of those to do. So we're probably about 50% of the way done with those, but I want to show you the end result. Okay, so community amenities. The first goal is multi-generational recreational programming. Kudos to your Parks and Rec. Sounds like there's a lot going on there. Goal C2, a clearly defined visual sense of place throughout the community. And the third one, a vibrant cultural experience. Two more within community amenities, a premier regional, national, and international golf destination. And then C5, functionally and aesthetically pleasing marina. And that takes care of community amenities. Now we move on to environmental resiliency and sustainability. The first two, water quality protection and a Florida-friendly built environment, which I really liked that one personally. We worked hard on that one, yes. Goal 3, achieve net zero energy compliance in city facilities to align to Ready for 100 initiative. Goal D4, impact preparedness for sea level rise. And then goal 5, environmentally focused operations with sustainable infrastructure. That one we worked on too. Okay, good governance. We have goal responsive and responsible leadership. Goal 2, long-term fiscal sustainability. And then goal 3, exceptional customer service. Goal 4, a high-quality workforce that is engaged and empowered. And goal 5, a strong, vibrant organizational culture. All right, F, infrastructure planning and growth. First goal is retain our charm, character, and small-town vibe. Second is zoning and land use codes reflective of community desires. Goal 3, preserve and maintain our parks. Goal 4, attract and encourage affordable housing. And goal 5, essential infrastructure for a safe and functional community. Last but not least, multimodal transit. Goal 1, seamless connectivity of transportation methods. Goal 2, inclusive multimodal transportation. Goal 3, a comprehensive parking plan. Goal 4, a community multimodal transportation education program. And that, All right, so that was a lot. And I know it's information overload, but think about this. You have 7 strategic themes, 32 goals, and 86 objectives. You can't do all that in 3 to 5 years. You can try.
That's the point, though.
That's the point. So remember, we did a prioritization exercise. SPC led that. And you guys came up with, you said these were your 6 priority goals. Goal A1 was a consistent set of standards for responsive and accessible customer service. Goal A4, robust public safety services with an emphasis on community connectivity. Goal D1, water quality protection. Goal E1, responsive and responsible leadership. Goal F1, retain our charm, character, and small town vibe. And then goal F2, zoning and land use codes reflective of community desires. Okay?
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? So we will continue working with Jennifer and Nicole and the rest of the department heads to complete the action items. In addition to that, within our spreadsheet, we will also clarify time frame, responsible person, and then the collaborative teams for each goal that need to work on that specific goal and objective. We will finalize the community and data report. We will present the final presentation to you on September 3rd. And then you will begin to develop the best process for the implementation phase. And just, that's really SPC's specialty. But I know that we are providing some guidance in terms of if you're going to be using a specific software, how are you going to be providing progress updates, as well as how are you going to connect this to your budget. And so all those things will come kind of later. But for the purposes of right now, we're very close. I feel very good about where we are. And truly, it's been a pleasure. I think you have a really good plan. So happy to answer any questions, but we've come a long way.
Okay, I'm going to open it up. Vice Mayor?
So yeah, you're right. I was trying to look at some of our past minutes and try to draw a comparison on how we included or didn't include things. But, I mean, it looks good. I guess my question would be, if there are adjustments and changes, regardless minor or major, how does that process work? I mean, I guess this is new, so I'm assuming we all have a chance, including Commissioner Walker, who's not here today, to say, well, wait a minute, we forgot this, or wait a minute, this is too high of a priority. How would that work?
So if you have specific comments on the drafts that we have provided to you, those can, I'm assuming, be sent to Nicole, which will then, obviously Jennifer and Nicole, but Nicole's going to get it to me. And we will take a look at those. I will say that depending on what it is, we're not going to be adding any new goals. We're not going to be adding any new objectives. We may be wordsmithing, but the foundation of what we've created is there based on the 6 months of data we've collected with the employees, the community, and you as well.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that's my question still, was just the tweaking. And then in terms of how this would jive with our budget. So,
Yes.
for instance, I can see something in there right now that basically is a competing project with one of our major capital goals right now. And so how would this work when we go to budgeting, and how that would, I mean, what's the power of this, so to speak, when we know we've got some competing interests?
So your strategic plan should be the driving force for your budget decisions.
And if there's competing interests within the strategic plan, then they just have to be worked out during the budget. Gotcha.
But
Okay.
again, remember those 6 priorities, going back to these? This is what you said you wanted to focus on initially. And so your decisions, again, we do understand in government that you may get $1 million grant from the legislature, and that's going to throw you off a little bit because now you are going to have to shift. That's the purpose of our process, is that it's fluid and flexible. That happens, but 99% of the time, this is what your decisions should be based on. And when you're doing progress reports and you have items on your agenda, each item on your agenda as a commission should reference what strategic goal you are trying to accomplish on your commission agenda. It should be directly tied to whatever you're reviewing. It should be embedded in your culture.
And if I could add,
Yeah.
I was thinking that, the other thing we have to think about, because it can all change, we did this as a group, and we, can have, we're going to have several new people on our commission.
So, yeah.
doesn't make it a majority vote one way or another. I don't mean it that way. But, you know, these were, as a group, our 6 priority goals. May not be for the new folks coming in.
Yeah, so here's what I would say about that. We've experienced that quite a bit in other communities. And so what we have found to be very successful is that there is an orientation with whomever the new elected officials are to go through the entire process. Because again, remember, this was a process over a year almost that involved all key stakeholders. And so this should not be shifted at all. Whomever is newly elected, they may have questions and try to understand it, but at the end of the day, it's bigger than the elected officials.
But that's a very good point. And who not as a person, but as a position in the city do you think would normally be the person to orient them on that? The city manager's office?
Absolutely, yes. It should be, yes, the city manager would be the individual who would meet with them one-on-one.
That gives her too much power. No, no,
Well, that is the role of the city manager.
I'm kidding. I know my jokes aren't good this morning,
No,
sorry.
they're
But
If I can add, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
That we've been working with Rebecca and with staff as far as the orientation for new elected officials. You know, we expanded it this last election when Commissioner Walker came on board. And we're expanding it again as far as the orientation to have a more thorough, longer orientation, if you will. And this is a key component of it. What? Oh.
Thank you.
Sorry. This is a key component of that orientation to go over the strategic plan. And as Angela had said, how we got to where we are today, because it wasn't short. And just the level of community input, I think, is compelling to a newly elected official as far as this plan goes.
Okay.
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good information here. I think, my comment question, I think you've kind of answered it, and some of it we'll just have to see is, I mean, for one thing, the dashboarding, when will dashboarding occur? That's a whole separate process in terms of the
That's in the
measurement?
implementation phase.
Okay.
So we are finalizing what we would call our kind of internal Excel document. That's the easiest way to explain it, which includes the action items, the time frame. Like I said, we're almost there. We need a little bit more time to finish it. And then that is taken and basically imported into whatever software you may be using for the implementation phase, which would provide you with the dashboard.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's, at least for me, the most important part of the process is
Absolutely.
getting to a great dashboard that the community can see, that we can see, and how we're progressing and providing services. And then I think just the other one is, and we'll probably learn as we go, in terms of the budget, again, how the budget's going to jive with this and deal with competing interests. So, but
And I believe some of the softwares will allow you to do some of that. Yes. So some of the softwares that Nicole has been researching do allow for some connectivity with the budget, so.
okay.
Vice Mayor, Mayor, I think that and just for the record, that implementation of this plan is as important as developing it,
Absolutely.
in terms of not just the community, but the employees. When you're looking at customer service standards, it has to be implemented properly and in keeping and in alignment completely with the strategic plan. And so, and that's going to be a very large work effort. It really is. So, and that's the next, got to, ramp up our energy on that too, because once you all adopt this, then it's go time on that as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer in dashboarding in terms of progress. Obviously, it's got to be meaningful. It's got to be, on point. But boy, when you get good dashboards to really evaluate your organization, it's great stuff. I mean, if you bad in, bad out, then it's not great stuff. But I mean, I think we've got a good base to begin here, so appreciate it. I don't have any more questions right now.
Commissioner Torgo?
Thank you for the presentation. There are some very sweeping generalities, I think, in here, with specifically starting with the vision statement. And there we have dealt with and read numerous vision statements. That can go a little bit left or right depending on who's looking at it and who's reading it. It starts off with to cultivate. Well, that would, of course, be always important. So I just want to point out that it is not defining. It is a very broad vision statement, and it doesn't give any history of what we've done or what does some of those things mean. So I think we have to have some flexibility in that. I did want to state that when I went through this information and I saw we had 7 strategic themes, 32 goals, 86 objectives, and then I started counting how many action plans there might be involved with this. Having done these in business before, we would always have to create, we always did, we'd always have to create not only a budget that would go along with this to show, when are we going to do this? How would we do this? How much would this cost to do it the way we really wanted to achieve whatever that vision statement is. The vision statement, in my opinion, can change. It can. In business, it can change much quicker than what it can for a municipality. I think it's a good guiding force for us as we go forward and as departments go forward to see where it is that we thought things were important. However, I would suggest that we keep an open mind for new commissioners when they come in or new leadership when they come in to look at some of this. Specifically, for example, the state of Florida may make some changes in certain things, certain goals that they may have, certain visions that they may have. Let's talk about energy, for example. Then that might affect what it is that we're attempting to do here. It might affect all the way down to include the action items that are going to be in here. Remember, there could be several hundred action items. So I want to make sure that we don't get all hung up in paper here, and that we're effectively working each one of the departments. Some of these departments that we have in the city don't really need a bound 100-page document to tell them what it is that they're attempting to do. So I want to make sure that there are some things in here that are very loosely defined and that may be affected by time and may be affected by individuals that come in, may be affected by our residents and our business owners. There's things that they would like to see. And so I just want to make that point based on some of the things that were said. The branding, I'm not sure where we are with the branding at this point in time. I need to get up to speed with that. Are we getting a presentation on branding coming up, or did we?
You won't have a presentation. The branding itself is going to roll out very slowly and incrementally. But the Chandler Things came down and did a presentation to you a while ago on the brand pillars, and now we're essentially implementing the brand pillars. So there won't be a formal presentation to that end. You're going to see it very subtly as it's rolled out. It's part of the budget. It's going to be part of the budget and the strategic plan as well. You'll see the brand pillars.
It's not particularly important to this subject, but I just wanted to make that a mention. For example, should we switch to something different than what we're doing? We are a coastal city, and I want to make sure that we get enough emphasis on the coastal side of that, and that involves both protection for the coastal city, but then also for the activities that we've got going on and could have going on with being a coastal city. So we go from here. We have all of these, for example, 86 objectives. The action plans, I think, are really going to be the most important. And so I guess we'll see those coming up sometime shortly. That'll be in the last presentation.
So again, what you will be approving will be the goals and objectives. The action items will be included in the Excel document along with the time frame and the collaborative partners and the responsible party. However, to your point, a lot of times the action items may change. We're putting in there what we think we know at this point, but again, based on new money coming in, or God forbid, a natural disaster, another hurricane, flooding, those action items may shift. However, again, the goals and objectives should remain the same. The action items may shift. So we will have a very lengthy, long document in Word that will somewhat look like this, but it will have timeframes and the action items. But again, what you will still be looking at and approving is that your goals and objectives, and that you're focused on these 6 priority goals, which is what you agreed to. Now, that doesn't mean your priorities may shift. But again, the goals should remain the same.
Well, that comes into effect when we approve budgets, for example, oftentimes, it would seem. And my comments, I meant to have be taken very general.
Yes.
We spent all this time on this, and then now we go back and do our work. And so when we do our budgeting, we budget by department, certainly.
Well, again, budget decisions should be made around these priority goals.
I understand, that's what I said.
Okay.
Okay? So the budgeting will be applying to these goals, and if any one of these goals were to change or have any emphasis. So for example, you got a pot of money. You may only be able to, I'm kidding, but I could make this up. You could have only one goal that you're going to be able to support. And so it doesn't mean just because they're listed here that we run on with them.
Correct. And it's a roadmap.
Exactly.
It's a roadmap to give you direction.
A lot of it depends on financial capacity and capability, and like you said, what might have happened here.
Yes.
So I appreciate the presentation. Some of these may be goals, some of these may be visions, et cetera, that someone may wish to wordsmith a little bit. There will be wordsmithing going on in people's minds in some cases, because in order to justify things.
Sure.
So we have to realize that they are very general.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And again, if you have any comments, just get them to Nicole, and I'm assuming Nicole and Jennifer, and
Yes.
they'll get with me.
So if I can just add on to that too, because I know that the commissioner knows this, but for the employees who are listening, a lot of these action items and action plans are activities we're already doing. They will just
Yes.
populate, a lot of those goals and those terms. There might be some new ones, but a lot of them we're already doing. So of those 86 objectives, once we populate that.
Absolutely.
This is not all new work.
No, it is not all new work.
I don't,
Please don't freak out, staff.
I don't think there are very many new ones in here as far as things that have happened in the past,
Yeah,
in the past 4 years.
There's a few, but again, it's that roadmap. It's everyone's on the same page, like the train is leaving the station and everybody's on going in the same direction. And that's really what this is about.
Exactly, right.
Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor. I looked at the 7 strategic themes, 32 goals, 80, and I thought, ooh, look at us go. Man, I was actually very impressed. Exhausted, but impressed. Well done. And just some interesting things that I saw, and as you know, changes are needed, but under the community amenities, that we want a premier regional, national, and international golf destination. Our marina, aesthetically pleasing, just like, really. But the only real comment I have, well done, and I understand, we did do a lot of work on this, and I do question the value of the work. Are they so loosely broaded that I wonder if, and it was mentioned that we're already doing a lot of this stuff, and I wonder if we're taking any of our budget items, any of our action plans, we can't somewhere fit into one of these. And so nothing has really changed. Right? I'm just throwing it out there. No comment necessary. But the only real question that I have is actually won't be surprised.
I'm looking.
Multimodal. Yeah. What a surprise. And no, I'm thrilled that it's in there, and we're taking a good look at this. And I am on page, it won't tell me. Close to the end. And what I want to, because we've had some conversation during these workshops But then we've also had conversations outside these workshops on just part of the everyday work that we do up here. And when we talk about multimodal, right, it is something very broad, and it's to incorporate all forms of transportation. And I just, under objective G2.1, conduct a feasibility study on waterborne taxi service. And I'm a huge fan of that. So before anybody starts thinking anything, I'm all in favor of this. But one, that sounds like an action item, not an objective. And two, the waterborne, where is that going to end up rest? Is that a city function? Because when I read that, I looked at, we've also talked about fixed route public transportation in general, bus routes. I get beat up all the time about where are we on Jolly Trolley and not increasing the frequency of those routes. And so Jolly, if you want to separate public transit from Jolly Trolley or put them together as public transit, either one is fine, but that isn't acknowledged in here, which should be considered as part of multimodal. And acknowledging that, it's not really under the complete purview of the city of Dunedin, right? It's a public transportation for the county. And while the waterborne transportation is still in its infancy and we're still trying to figure it out, it's really not part of the Dunedin infrastructure. It's going to be PSTA or forward pronounced, somewhere in there. And so it's just, I'm wondering why I don't want to say targeted, but we emphasized waterborne as opposed to the others. Yes, Mayor.
It's funny because I wondered why it said feasibility study for waterborne taxi service too, because the county and Forward Pinellas is doing, Forward Pinellas is doing all of that work.
Right.
We are simply putting our money where our mouth is to support the actual existence of it. Fingers crossed,
Right.
October 1st. Fingers crossed. So we wouldn't be doing a feasibility study on any of it. They're doing it. They've done it. I only know this because I've been a part of it for the last at least 3 years.
Right. And the waterborne is part of a fixed route transportation service.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if instead of waterborne, that it just doesn't say fixed route public transit, and then if you need to identify the different aspects of that, that'd be fine, but.
So two things. One, objective 2.2, expand route times and days of shuttle service.
Right.
I think that was trying to address some of the other areas. And so, again, just send your comments and we will go back and pull the data, in terms of why that was there. Because again, this was all created with staff and with all of the data that we have collected. So if you just want to send us your comments, happy to look at that. But again, 2.2, I believe, was referring to the additional.
Actually, I think 2.2 is referring to the freebie.
That's what I thought.
It's all.
So where that can be, like Angela is saying, the objective is going to stay the same, but the action item under, so it may be the freebie, it may be Jolly Trolley.
Yeah, because we've talked about trying to get 30-minute headways with Jolly Trolley versus 60-minute.
So again, the action items may be specific to what you're talking about, but the objective is, again, inclusive of all of those. So maybe when you see the action items, that will help. But again, if you have comments, just send them and we'll go back and look at each one specifically.
Yeah.
I got it.
Did she just
You got
send me,
that.
I think I just got sent to customer service. I'm sorry.
No, because I'll
You've got a
forget.
complaint
Even
press
if I
too.
write it down, I'll forget. I don't want to forget.
That's fine. And I get that, I understand that. Yes, I would need an email as well. But yeah, those are my comments. But
Okay.
it's a wonderful document. Thank you for all the effort you've done, and
Yeah,
looking
absolutely.
forward to the next steps.
And we'll take a look, if you do send it via, I did make a note, but we'll take a look at that specific section and just make sure that we captured
And the
everything
only reason
correctly.
and I get that, but when you look at that and where that came from, and that's why I made the comment, we also have conversations outside of those workshops pertaining to this document.
Right.
But our day-to-day business, we talk about those other items.
Sure, absolutely.
And so it might be hard to capture those if you're
Yes.
if you're just looking at the workshop, so,
Okay, yes, so anything, that would be great.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think you guys did a great job. It was like herding cats sometimes, and we're the cats. But I appreciate Jennifer wanting to go down this road and create something that pulls the employees, the policymakers, and the community together in one document that can be followed, so that when questioned, you know, we have new people here, why are you doing it this way, or why are you focusing on that? Well, here's a document that says why. And I do think it's timely. Post-COVID, we had a whole bunch of new people move here. And you can tell that the sentiment is different. And it's almost like the long-timers and the newbies are clashing. You know, and I think this document sort of brings that all together. I also think it's timely because we do have new elected officials coming on the dais, and it gives them something that they can look at that says, okay, I know what everybody is trying to achieve. I don't need to worry about that now. You know, I need to worry about, are we achieving it? And are we achieving it in the right way?
And do you have the right resources in place to
Right.
achieve it?
So-
Those are the decisions you'll
Right.
be needing to make, so.
So,
And I would just share, I will tell you this, you know, we do a lot of these across the state, and you guys are not alone in terms of, I have seen, I was just in Fort Myers Beach and in Wellington within the past month, and you see, because of the population influx in the state of Florida, I would say 90% of the municipalities, especially if they're coastal or, you know, a little bit more urban, there is this huge tug and pull between residents who have kind of grown up, if you will, within the community versus the influx of population coming in. And so even more reason for a strategic plan and having that roadmap, because it's happening all over the state. It really is. So, and you guys are doing a great job. You're ahead of the curve, really, in terms of doing this. So,
well, thank you for all of your hard work. Thank you for all the partnership. We love the collaborative labs. We love working with you, Angela. Nicole, great job. Jennifer. Is there anybody from the audience that wishes to come forward and speak to this at all? Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. Appreciate it.
you need me to?
Jennifer?
City manager's update?
Oh, it says, can I sum up?
Oh.
Go.
Actually, you did a beautiful job, but I just wanted to thank the commission for funding this particular project. And, you know, Commissioner Gao, when you said it seems like we have a lot of action plans, a lot of strategic plans. We have one for the library, we have one for Parks and Recreation, we have master plans, we have all those sorts of things. And this plan is predicated upon consideration of all those plans as well. But making our decisions based upon what the community tells you they want to do, which is what you do through the community surveys. You do the business survey, you do the citizen survey. And then making our decisions based upon a strategic plan which guides us year to year to year to year, and a longer-term plan, which is really based upon that community input. You remember when we had the community meetings, the community really showed up. I mean, I was really impressed with how many people came to those meetings. And then we also had an employee meeting, and they showed up as well to give their input, followed by the leadership forums, and then really nailing it down and kind of zeroing in on exactly what the plan reads. And I feel, I've been here almost 7 years, that we have that focus in one plan, one direction that we need to deploy, that everybody understands and that everybody supports. And when Angela said we're ahead of that curve, I think, for coastal cities, I hope so. My background is in high-performing organizations, as you know, and they're all based upon a very strong strategic plan, which is what we have now, and I'm really excited about it, and thank you for your support.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to informational items, commission discussion. I didn't get any emails on anything for that, so we'll go on to city clerk's update.
Mayor, thank you. I don't have anything today either. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Rebecca? When do the signs go up?
100 days prior to
Yeah, what's the date? The political signs, because isn't that coming up?
July, I can tell you.
Because I want to know for the public.
Second. Qualifying starts July 15th, and then it ends July 29th, and that's at, so it would be July 28th. It would be 100 days prior to the election.
Huh, okay. Get ready.
Yeah.
Okay, city manager's update?
Yeah, the update is attached to the agenda, but just one thing I want to mention, Mayor, if I may, the travel to Scotland. We kind of went over who was going to Scotland, and I had mentioned that of staff members, it would be myself, and Vince, at that point, I had listed, but he was private pay. I would actually like to extend the invitation to Vince to join us. The city events then would be funded by the city. This, what we're populating and responsible for as staff. And the reason for that is that Vince has already been very supportive of the trip and getting us organized in some areas. If he's there, he's going to have to work. He's the liaison to the pipe band as well, so he's going to be, corresponding and interacting with them quite a bit. And so I just think it's fair if we were to say pay his portion. That's an operational issue. It's not a policy issue. And the only reason I bring it up on the dais and in public is because I did not mention that the last time we were talking about the Scotland trip.
And we get to see them twice,
Yes.
the band.
Yes, we do. Yeah. So thank you, Mayor.
Okay, anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry. City attorney update? Nothing? Okay. Commission comments, Vice Mayor.
No, I think my only comment is a week from Thursday, we will be going to Toronto for the Toronto trip with the Chamber of Commerce, as you know. And, and it's become a very important trip, I think, for the Chamber, for the city, to show support to the Toronto Blue Jays, to, value the relationship. Obviously, they are, the largest, private or corporate partner that we have, and I was around when the relationship was not as great, and it's a great relationship, it's a great partnership, it's doing great things for our city and our businesses, so we'll be doing that a week from Thursday, so be there 4 days, so just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, anybody else? Sorry, I don't know why I just said that. Commissioner Torngo.
Thank you. I only have one thing to bring out, and that was the Suncoast League of Cities. Good meeting this past month. A primary focus for me was listening to see what was going to be happening or what they felt would be happening up in Florida or the Florida legislators on coastal city issues. There was a lady there who gave us her card, and I'm sure that the city manager has this information. I'll make sure she gets it, about an organization that is assisting coastal cities in that subject matter. And I think we may see some more activity at the legislative level concerning that subject in the very near future.
Okay. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor. I just, one thing I want to mention was I am not going to the Toronto trip, but I am in support of that. I continue to think that it's a wonderful thing that the city does, and it's a wonderful partnership and opportunity. So I just wanted to make that public. And then also, we have a new principal in town at San Jose Elementary, Lisa Brown. Thank you very much for your many years of service, but she has retired, and she is replaced by Katie Gualtieri, no relation to the sheriff. spelled the same way. She was assistant principal at Lila Davis, and so that's where she comes from. She started at the end of June. She lives in St. Pete. She lives in her, I think it's her great-grandfather's house, which to me just really showed a strength of community and that her family's been in St. Pete. So coming to Dunedin, I think that kind of fits from the community aspect. That's what we'd like to believe. And
Long drive, though.
it is a long drive, but she's been doing it for years
Oh,
for
so
Lila
that's good.
Davis. So she
Yeah, that's
she
true.
didn't have
Yeah.
any qualms about it.
Yeah.
I was very impressed for the short time she's been here. She's actually driven through and had questions or comments about the city itself. So she isn't just a principal of the school. She understands and gets us as a community. So excited to have her here, and welcome to Dunedin, Ms. Gualtieri.
Thank you, Commissioner. This Friday, Jennifer and I are going to our next waterborne transportation funding committee meeting in Clearwater. The county is supposed to be in attendance. We'll see. We'll see. PSTA, as you know, did receive the grant. They have gone out to RFP for the ferry services. So I'm sure we'll get a strong update on Friday about all of that. Again, our hope is that the service starts October 1st. That's been the goal all along. We currently have in our budget already for this, 80 grand or something like that a month. I mean, not a month, a year. So fingers crossed that all of that goes well. I know tomorrow evening DDMA has their meet and greet at Sonder at 5:30. I'm just looking at anything else. You know, we're leaving, as you mentioned. In case anybody wants to know, I know you like to go to these things. Next Wednesday, the 17th, at the TDC meeting, there will be several community organizations on the agenda for elite funding for their events. So in case you want to go and support,
Yes, I would.
I keep looking for the agenda, haven't seen it yet, but there are several on there. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that's of upcoming importance. That's all I got right now. Okay, any final closing comments? Shocker. Look at this.
That's amazing.
Yay!
All right.
Okay, we are adjourned.
You see the new artwork?